The NeuroDADverse podcast is produced by Squid Shack Studios.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Dan.
We're both fathers,
We're both married.
and we're both raising kids with diagnosed neurodiverse conditions.
Parenting is tough, and we're not saying it's harder for us, just different.
And sometimes that different can be hard to explain.
That's why we've created the NeuroDADverse, a weekly show where we share our wins, our challenges, and all the neurosparkly and neurospicy bits in between.
Our hope is to create a safe space for parents to share their own highs and lows of neurodiverse parenting. And just to remind you of three things.
You're doing great,
You are enough.
and you're definitely not alone.
So welcome to the NeuroDADverse. Hello, welcome to that strange time in between Christmas and New Year, Betwixtmas, where you don't often know what's happening from one day to the next. But that's okay, because we embrace all of the different types of days here on the NeuroDADverse, where we discuss all things neurosparkly and neurospicy, because we are the podcast for, about, and definitely by parents of neurodivergent children. Merry Christmas, Dan. How are you?
Merry Christmas, Ben. Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Loving whatever this seems to be on the screen
if you
here.
watch it on YouTube, there's a little bit of I grabbed to get my cup of tea and ruined potentially the reveal of, if you all were listening last week, you know that Laura popped in the end of the pod and said her win of the week was negotiating getting my Christmas gift because she had to reach out to people that she knows but doesn't know really well, and just messaging people is a kind of anxiety-inducing, difficult thing for Laura. It's one of her ADHD traits that she finds most difficult. So she was able to reach out and with a lot of support, get designed and created this. If you're listening,
Amazing.
I'm showing a hoodie with the NeuroDADverse logo on it, which is lovely. She would have been had to speak to a friend of mine, Jay, who's works for like a printing company, does band merch and stuff near where we live. He's a very good friend of mine. But she's met him a couple of times, but doesn't necessarily reach out to people. So that was lovely. And this is great. And I wear it with a lot of pride. And I love it a lot. And it was a complete surprise because I wouldn't have considered that she might have bought me that for Christmas. So that's very nice. I think what I like more is that she knew that was going to be a big challenge for her, and she kind of pushed on with it, when I think maybe, I don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe she'd have run from that for certain reasons. So yeah, NeuroDADverse hoodie. Thank you very much, Laura. You'll be seeing a bit more of it if you're watching future episodes on YouTube.
Yeah, you win best dressed
wait-
of the pod. I've just got a Star Wars
Well, I
jumper
don't
on.
know. Star Wars Christmas jumper is big. We were Star Wars marathon on Christmas Day in between meals, courses, whatever, food, we didn't have to stay for the whole period of just sitting at a table. We figured, listeners and viewers, that we would just do a bit of a streamline in terms of what my Christmas week was like and what Dan's Christmas week was like, and we'll smuggle in the challenges and wins in there, because it's a mad week and it's a bit crazy, and us listing off all the things that we've done doesn't really seem like the right vibe for the pod, because it's probably busier than most of our weeks. But if you are listening to us for the first time, this is your first time with us, we normally kind of sum up our week in 3 words, list all the things we've done in that week, and then we talk about our wins and our challenges. We have a look ahead to what's happening in the next 7 days. And as we sometimes rank our bath time scores, which is taking a bit of a hiatus. But just for now, Dan, tell me about your week and smuggle in some wins and challenges for me.
So my week in 3 words, I'd have it down as Christmas, obviously, transitions and family. And are we sharing our 3 words, or am I just kind of going off into my win or challenge?
Oh yeah, go on.
or
I'll give you mine. Mine
Just to clarify.
was
So Christmas, transitions, family are my 3 words.
okay. Mine was magic, patience, and negotiations.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
what was going on? What was going on for you, pal?
So yeah, just Christmas week is the only week of the year like it, isn't it? Really. And we now find ourselves in this middling period between the next sort of broken week of the year, which is New Year. So my
Betwixtmas. It's called Betwixtmas.
Betwixtmas.
It's one of the, if you're a long-term listener, it's kind of a bum back situation.
Right.
Yeah. It's been
Colloquial language.
Betwixtmas but been Betwixtmas in our house for a long time. And Laura said it once and it stuck. Sorry, we are in Betwixtmas. Carry on, Dan.
So my week consisted of a lot of transitions around family. So I spent a day at my mum and dad's. We spent a day at Amy's mum, and to see her brother. And we spent Christmas Day on our own, and we had saw some of like the Send family with
Yeah.
the extended Send family, and Frankie also had an overnight stay, and me and Amy had a
Nice.
day and a night to ourselves. So that's kind of our
Overnight with people they've done before.
yeah
Nothing.
Overnights with very close
You're
family
gonna
friends.
not gonna rock an unfamiliar away night on the week of Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, no, someone
Sorry.
he's done sleepovers with a couple of times, but hasn't been in a little while. It's been a few months since the last time. So yeah, that's kind of that's the sort of recap of my week, the highlight reel of my week.
Okay.
In terms of, do you want me to discuss a challenge or a win, or do you want to talk about yours, or
Yeah,
guide me, oh
yeah.
mighty presenter.
Well, I'll talk about mine. We had I took the kids shopping for Laura's gifts on Monday, something we've been doing for about 10 years. And they just choose the gifts unprompted, which they're getting quite good at. So that was a busy Monday. And then my cousins came down Christmas Eve. We then had a busy Christmas Eve, went to the cinema, went out to see some Christmas lights, had fish and chips Christmas Eve. And then we had a Christmas Day where we had meal. So we had like a starter, main course, dessert, and then gifts were in the morning super early. We did all the stuff. My cousin's got 3 kids. 2 of them, one of them infant school age, or pre-infants. So the magic was the reason I put magic in was they were our kids and their older kids were playing at that make-believe stuff, which was nice to see. Yeah. And then they left on the end of Christmas Day, and then Boxing Day, some really close friends came around. So it's been really super social, a lot of transitions and a lot of table dinners, table time. So yeah, there's been a lot going on. We packed a lot in because Laura had got a full stretch of time off work, so we thought we'd try and make the most of it. Yeah. So yeah, what was your challenge within all your week, buddy?
So my big challenge this week, I suppose, will be trying to deal with the whelm. So not trying to have him too overwhelmed, and regulating and sleep. So my big real challenge has been the transitions between all of the sort of days in and days out with lots of socializing, and then obviously how that can impact him sleeping and getting himself ready.
You said transitions between. Do you mean the night after a big day, getting them to regulate down to sleep so they can have another big day the next day, or do you mean going in and out of the house?
Pretty much every sense of the word of transitioning,
Right.
really.
Okay.
So it's the getting him to, when we're doing outs, it's getting him excited enough to want to leave, but not too overwhelmed to have challenges in leaving and getting to the next place. And then getting him to transition at the new place, or say at the new place, at the family member's house.
Yeah.
And then getting him to engage happily in whatever we're doing, and then trying to get him to then be regulated enough when we then leave to then go home, and then obviously once home then to sort of
we were talking a
down
couple
to
of weeks
sleep.
ago, weren't we, about you don't drop in.
Yeah, you can't really do a quick thing. There is one or two people
that's wrong
that
of me.
do.
I don't mean all autistic kids can't just drop in. I mean our 2 autistic kids can't just drop in and then leave. They have to just get there, assess the place, get into the place and then be there for a period of time until we feel, okay, now I can manage the when thens to get them out.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And
but
and
that's tough
also,
because you got a lot on.
mm,
Who's the transition for? Did you? Sorry, you were carrying on talking, but do you mind if I ask a question? Did you have to? Did you abort anything? Did you
no.
like not do anything? Oh, okay.
No, I did wonder if we might have to at one point, but no, everything went ahead plan-wise, so
Hmm.
that was good and a win for sure. Like we say a lot of the time, sometimes the wins and the challenges are connected somehow.
Yeah, of course.
Um, but yeah, I was just appreciative that I said last pod, I thought he'd been a bit different the last couple of weeks, and basically December was just starting to show like the mask was starting to slip maybe and just becoming whelmed to the point where it then starts to interfere with him trying to regulate and doing the rest of his days. He did so well. The challenge was just trying to keep him sort of happy to be able to interact with all the stuff and all the people. So we went to my mum and dad's, my brother's there. Amy come and met us from work 'cause she did a half day because it was Christmas Eve. That was kind of fine. We haven't spent lots of time at Nanny and Grandad's in the last couple of months, but we have been there once or twice, so that was nice. And I feel like he felt the change, which was nice because normally they sort of come to us and he
Yeah.
interacts with them there, but having my brother there as well, so that was nice. And then the complete opposite Christmas Day. It was just the three of us. We were basically in our pajamas from like Christmas Eve until Boxing Day
Nice.
morning. We did a proper chill day, and he really liked that because he knew that we were home, and then it was trying to get him to be like, okay, so today we're getting changed because we're going out to Nanny's. Um, and when we got there, there was a lot of family there. Uh, so we had Amy's mum, her brother, and then her cousin come round with her mum. She's got two kids under two, so there was just a lot happening
Yeah.
in the living room. But he got through it he got through it well. But then it was kind of by 3 o'clock, our day had sort of been naturally drawing to a. He's starting to get a little bit tired, and you can sort
Yeah.
of see that he's not regulating as happily as he normally would. So although we normally say to people 3 o'clock
When you
is when we're sort of planning our day to end, our days were kind of sort of ended at
uh-huh.
by 3. We needed to
when
get home and
when you went to all those places, did you have like forced social traditions? So, like, was it big table dinners or
No, we
okay,
didn't actually. We went
cool.
so both the family meetups were so the main sitting down table interaction was Christmas Day when it was just the three of us.
Yeah.
He did sit with us for the duration. He's got much better at being happy sitting there with like we have a telly in the kitchen. I put something on that he
Yeah. Yeah,
likes.
you regularly do
Um
that, so that wouldn't be a big I was talking about, like the big
yeah.
going to your parents or whatever, so if you
But
haven't
both the
had it there, it's
parents
not
it was kind of like picky buffet
nice. Yeah, yeah.
sort of style. So it's he did go and sit with my dad at their table at my mum and dad's house, and
Nice.
he does sit at the table at Amy's mum's house. But it was more like we were just there chilling, wasn't really doing a lot of activity things based. He was just like enjoying being there and playing, and it was just us being social and seeing each other really. So there wasn't a pressure on that sort of side of things. It was just more trying to just, like you say, shepherd him through and guide him through a week where we haven't been at school for a week now. Obviously, that's different to him. And there isn't a set routine and structure to this time of year, apart from we generally see the families on
Yeah.
the day of family for 3 or 4 days. And then he went and had a stay with uh, our friends and their children who he loves and gets on with. It
Yeah.
was just we're just
So lots
conscious
of
that it's a
familiar.
lot. It's just yeah, lots of familiar, but also it's just like day after day after day after day, and this is the only time of year really where that kind of happens. Birthdays are probably the nearest, like Amy having
Mhm.
her big birthday this
Oh,
year.
yeah, I remember you saying.
We had a lot of stuff happening there. But we don't really have because obviously normally you only have a weekend. So it's like Saturday, Sunday, then you're back at school. This has
Mm.
been like 3 weekends back to back sort of thing. So it's
Yeah,
just
of
been trying
course.
to get him through there. Sometimes the sleep's been a little bit challenging, and he just can't. regulate himself enough to chill. But we're also at the time of year where time doesn't have to be as precious per se. So does this sound particularly challenging? Some listeners might be thinking, well, maybe not, but it's just to highlight it's gone
I
really
think it's just
well,
taking.
but it's just
I
a
think it's
lot.
just taking breath, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
going, I can now transition. Like between you and you got to leave, and you kind of go, okay. Between you and Ames, you'll kind of give each other the look and like, gather yourself up for this, because it's not just shoes on in car, which will be a lot of people's experience, neurodivergent child
Mhm.
or neurotypical child. It's a lot, and when I say it's a lot, you just have to remain kind, calm, and patient. And those three things I was talking about with dentists the other week, it's just so difficult to do yourself, because you still feel. I don't know about you, but I certainly sometimes feel the eyes of people who've known me my whole life, like family, kind of burning a hole in the back of your neck. I know that's my issue, and I know they're not super judgmental, but it is very much like, okay, cool. So now's going to be a time. I always felt like now's going to be a time where you're going to see like me at my most vulnerable, me at my most stressed. Um, so yeah, but it seems like it's not been too challenging because it's been familiar for Frank. So
Yeah, the main thing with transitions in general, I think, and potentially resting enough to want to go to sleep, have been Frank's biggest challenges for a little while. And this week it has highlighted, although we've navigated okay, it's just things like today. So we he had an overnight last night, and we were meeting him at someone else's house. So he was being taken from the house he'd slept over
yeah,
to
yeah,
our
yeah,
friend's
yeah.
house to have this brunch, and we are like, oh, this could be an interesting transition.
Mm.
When we were transitioning him to yesterday morning to go to with our friends to go to their house, he thought that we were going with him. So they all come in, said, "Hi, how you doing, Fred? We're going to
Oh
go." Like,
yeah,
he was all dressed and ready. Like, he loves their car. He loves driving around with them. He loves spending time with them. And he just did this little look at us, and he grabbed me by the hand and was like, "Come on then." I went, "Okay, yeah, Daddy will bring you to the car." And then he went and grabbed my shoes and then chucked my shoes at my feet, or sorry, placed them at my feet. And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
"Oh no,
yeah.
Daddy's not coming with you. Like, you're going off today to have fun with your friends." And then he got in the car, but then he looked at us, and then he kind of like started to tear up a little bit, and it just like, because we told him he was going, but he thought we were all going, but
Yeah.
obviously just not space. So, and then they had a similar
When you
thing
just
of
said that,
trying to get him back. It was like he didn't want to get dressed because he didn't see everyone else getting dressed, because he was being brought back by some of them, not all of them. Like, he's very much in a phase at the moment, which is lovely. And when I talk about my biggest win, this is for like, he's a lot more social now, but it's like all or
yeah,
nothing.
that stuff
It
about the
has to be
cake and
everyone in the
the
house
cake at
or no one in the
the
house.
cake at the school
Yeah.
was great. So shows. Yeah, when you just said that, I was just thinking about the amount of times that I had to do drop-offs with Oscar, and how much I just had to learn the hard way to just super break down my language when Oscar had no language at all. It was like, Daddy stay, you go,
Mm.
and then you want to say, everything will be okay. You're with Nana, you're with Gran. Um, love you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. I love you very much. I miss you. All those things are too complicated to strip back, but you want to say all those things. So yeah, I found that super challenging. Um, and also the trust, because it's you know the neurodivergent needs of a child. You're trusting them with someone else that you've known a long time, like your life, but they don't necessarily know. But that's why, as I said before, you kind of have to expose your family to the neurodivergent child, and all the, I don't want to say warts, but all of the behaviours that are going to be challenging, right? Because
Yeah.
they have to
Yeah, the good, the bad, the
love
happy, the
that.
sad. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
all good.
and
All
something
the
that we've
spicy and
definitely,
all the sparkly.
yeah, I should have said that, shouldn't I? Yeah. Uh,
That's right.
it's yeah, it's also sometimes a quick transition can work for, it's just having the letting transitions breathe as well, which
Mm,
we did, and
mm.
they were really good. We're like, okay, well, if you're not ready to go now, we'll just get out the car, and everyone came back in for like a minute
Best
or
trans
two, and
best
then they went, "Should we
transition
try again?" And we did,
best
and it went.
transition ever is where you kind of start. Well, Laura and I have gone, should we start thinking about going? And then randomly Oscar would just like start walking to the exit of somewhere. We're like,
Yeah,
yes.
and
I
that's the
was
other
like,
thing. Yeah,
oh, I forgot you had agency. You can actually do this. I
yeah,
don't
that our
have to
kids
drag
can
you. Like
hear
I'm not
us.
necessarily in charge. If I sat here for another 3 hours, you eventually would want to leave.
Mm.
Why are you on my clock? Oh, that's right, because I'm the adult and I'm the parent. We've got other places to go. So
Mm.
that sounds
Or he wants to
look, did
transition
you
too early as well, because like today when we was at our friend's house, was like, "Well, think about 3 o'clock-ish, we'll sort of leave," 'cause
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
said, "Yeah, we know, you've come early, we've been about 4 hours at this point." And then he can just be he'll either not wanna leave at all, or he's like dragging you to the door. So we
Yep.
said, "Shall we think about going?" And then he's kinda like took me by the hand to just walk me to the door to get his shoes
Yep.
on, and I'm like, so yeah, it's like total buy in
Yeah.
or total buy
I
out,
used
and
to do
sometimes you
this.
have to wait.
Sometimes I used to do this. Oscar, home. And the on the handful of occasions where Oscar went and walked, I was like, "Oh, I've absolutely scored a strike in bowling or something." Um, but yeah, that sounds good. Would you say that the transitions to all of those things this year are more challenging, about the same, or less challenging than they were last Christmas?
Really, really good question. I can confidently say I feel that they oh, it's tough actually, because initially I was gonna say 100% easier, but then without trying to break it down too much, because I say like I am quite like this, I break things down into more detail and context.
100 steps.
Yeah, I think the experience is overall easier for
Mm,
sure, but the context of the different parts of the transition journey
yeah.
actually sometimes are tougher. If that makes sense to anyone,
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
trying to make sure that makes sense to me.
I feel
I'm like,
like
I don't feel as anxious and well, is that the right word? I don't have as yeah, I suppose I don't have any sort of
I think it is anxiety.
I'm definitely more positive
Yeah,
Polly,
yeah,
less
yeah, yeah.
negative Nelly around knowing these things that, I
So
know that we have
you're
to leave.
so you feel different about it, which I think this
Yeah,
podcast is about
yeah.
really. Like you feel far better about the transitions and going to them. We're never going to
Yes.
really know whether how
Yeah.
Frankie experiences them because you could argue that if there were more deregulated behaviors during the
Mm.
transitions, that's all part of learning. Like we said the other week with the about the shopping bags and the office and stuff. That's just learning, and that's just like, I can't deal with this now, and this is how I'm expressing it to you, but the next time I do it, I'll probably be okay. So actually, sometimes that can be in the long term good, but it doesn't feel good. But you and Ames feel that it's not become more difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as well, chore isn't the right word, but it doesn't feel as all-consuming as it used
Yeah.
to be. Maybe the intensity of the transitions from Frankie's
Mm,
side, he's either super chilled and goes with the flow, or he's a lot more resistant, and that's when it can get a little bit
yeah.
sparkly, spicy.
Yeah.
Um, but we always get there, and we know that we will get to the end of the journey. It's just the journey is usually and it's a toy it's a coin toss on if it's going to be a happy transition or a more challenging transition. But he does get it. There was a nice little moment when I took him to his Sen club, and again, transition wise, we go to a special educational needs club. All the children there have got additional needs. Everyone just walks in with their parents and goes straight in. I'm the parent and Frankie we're the ones
Yeah,
outside
yeah, yeah,
trying to
yeah, yeah.
transition anything from 10 minutes to half an hour it takes. On
Yeah,
this
I remember
occasion,
you
I took
saying.
10 minutes, but it was a really good visual example. And part of me just wishes I could record my vision sometimes. I bet everyone probably has this, but it's just like to be able to show people that he was standing there properly visually stimming as he does playing with his toy,
Mhm.
and what the crew member, the team member that comes out and normally helps him transition, she's like, "Come on, Frankie, let's go." And he was kind of looking at her, and he was like doing high knees, like tiptoeing high knees whilst doing his little stim. So it looked like he was dancing, and he was looking at her to one side and then looking down, and it was like visually, because he said 5 words, but he doesn't speak a lot in English, that it was like the perfect pantomime sort of, I know what you want me to do and I'm getting on with it, but it's gonna be this speed. And it was
Nice.
quite joyful to see. But he
And
was just kind of doing
the
this little
pantomime
dance.
I'm running, but it's not fast. Yeah,
Yes,
like
it was just kind of like
good.
lots of movement, lots of stimming, and he was just looking at it like, "I know what you want me to do, but I've just got to do it
I
like
have to do
this."
it like this. Yeah.
And then he went in, and it was absolutely, and it was really nice. So, but
Rad.
yeah, that was just another sort of example of the transition. So a lot of the time, he either doesn't fully understand, and I appreciate it's not always easy to understand, like
Mm.
what's expected of me here. But then even if he does know what's expected of him, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen straight away. So yeah, just transitions. That's
Nice.
always our challenge. And this week, I just think there's just been a lot of them. He's done them, but yeah. What's
Cool.
your challenge been?
A bit wrestling with expectations. We
Mhm.
planned a lot of social interactions. I knew Oscar and or Mabel weren't going to engage in all of it. So cutting my own expectations and Laura and I being on the same team about it. So if someone didn't come down for a table dinner, not like absolutely losing our
Yeah,
stuff about it,
read
and
them the right act. Yeah.
just slowly be like, okay, when I come back, will you do this? Will you do this? Mabel requesting, I want to go out and do this, 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 and this. And we go, well, you don't forget you have this tomorrow. Her brain in the moment going, yeah, but that's tomorrow. That's not now. My time is now. I'm doing this now. And then her being tired the next day and trying not to go, I told you this would happen. You went out yesterday and are tired now. You stayed up and watched the Stranger Things drop at a certain time at 1 in the morning, and now you are tired for this thing that we had organized. And I text you all the organization, trying to not be that guy or those parents. Didn't always happen. But I'm happy to say that on the majority of occasions, we had some wins. So, for example, we went to the cinema on Christmas Eve. Oscar didn't come. They didn't come because they weren't particularly interested in the film. But they normally that cinema is great. They're
Mm.
very, very,
They
and
enjoy the
we wanted,
process.
yeah, and they like spending time with their cousins and chatting, but they'd had enough. And I reasoned, and the reason they'd had enough, um, is kind of smuggled in with my win, that I'll tell you about later.
Mhm.
But yeah, so just managing my own expectations of like, remember, you should do a podcast each week to talk about how parents of neurodivergent children, and just live that, like live the things that you're saying, patience, kindness,
It's not easy, as we say.
patience.
It's yeah.
No, of course,
Mm.
patience, kindness, and calmness, because actually my cousin was here with her husband and her 3 kids who have some neurospicy things undiagnosed going on. And it was just super respectful. Like I had no like anxiety about, oh, what are these people going to think of me? Like we know, we talk about it. She's an avid listener, so Addie, if you're listening to this on New Year's Day when you're perhaps watching your family do 5K runs, which I think is incredible that the 4 of them do that. But and you're listening to this, yeah, just it was super respectful, and everyone got each other's kids, and it was just lovely. Um, so yeah, there was that. The outings that we did do were uh, excellent. As I said, we went to the cinema. We went to see some Christmas lights. We had chaotic Christmas Eve fish and chips, which is a memory from my cousin and I's childhood, that we always used to. Our parents would be kind of manically wrapping in a different room, and then they'd forget to get any food. Then we'd order fish and chips. It would all be plumped in the middle of the table, and it sounds like it was a terrible thing, but like we actually have some kind of bonding over that, and trying to bring that back together was lovely and excellent. The biggest challenge, though, I would say, is when I took the kids shopping for Laura's gifts. We went to a city nearby, and oh, it was busy. Mabel was going to meet a friend after, so her intention was to get the job done absolutely quickly. She knew what she wanted because she'd been to this city before. She'd spec'd out the gift she wanted to buy it and then move on. I was very much that dad of going, no, 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 we've been doing this for a decade. We do it together. We get something to eat together. Then you can go, oh, but I've made plans. And that, just balance, that conversation balance was okay because I was super calm and super respectful, super patient. Oscar was excellent. The challenge came, so we did it. We went to the particular shop that Laura wanted to. I know Laura would have wanted to get stuff from. Another shop that was good for them, and we also went to a shop which was way too overwhelming in terms of the amount of people, in terms of the smells, the lights. They both came out and went, "I hate that store," and I went, "I understand. Mum will be really respectful that you took the time to go in there." Um, then we wanted to go to one of two places for food they'd chosen. There were queues, and they both immediately went, "We are not waiting in those queues." And I went, "Excellent. That's excellent. We're gonna have to find another place." And Mabel was like, "Oh, I know a place that does this also," because Oscar's very interested in Japanese food, so it's a place that does like sushi and rice bowls and stuff like that. So we went to that place, and that was actually lovely because we just had a moment where I was like, "Well, I like this. It feels Christmassy now." Like
Mm.
we all, and Mabel had gone, "Yeah, thank you." So then she had to go meet her friend, and Oscar and I just had to do one transition more. So we had to do a shop for some uh emergency veg and stuff. Laura had gone, "Oh, I'd forgotten we haven't got this." So so Oscar just said, "I want to stay in the car." I was like, You can't in this car park. You just need to come regulate with me because I need you to choose." Because they also wanted some stuff. So, and I just thought, like, I'm sticking to my guns on this because I can't leave Oscar in the car. If I lock it, the interior alarm's gonna go off or what. But more importantly, I can't risk they're not gonna do a flight or a wander or a big investigation. So it's one of those times where I was like, don't let yourself forget, because they were great all day, and I was like, oh, it's one of those days where if people, it's not that I'm looking for this, but they kind of pass as neurotypical. It's just like a dad out with their kid. The thing that probably is more of an issue for Oscar is that they were wearing like a rainbow stripy oversized jumper, leggings, and high heel boots, 6-inch heel boots, uh, which they look incredibly fabulous in, and they are really confident when they wear them. They're getting some looks and uh, some giggles maybe,
Mm.
and I was just conscious thinking, "You're not paying attention to that, but I'm paying attention to it." Nothing was directed at Oscar, so I didn't need to step in, but I was certainly get a feeling. This was in the supermarket, by the way. And I think Oscar might have just picked up on that energy. They didn't want to go into the place. The supermarket was absolutely heaving, and we had to do about 6 items. They were maybe picking up on that kind of energy, that laughter energy, but they wanted to cover themselves. I didn't really have anything on me to
Yeah.
do that kind of cover, and that kind of cover, they used to have like a bobbly blanket they used to have, to kind of, many a supermarket have I sat on the floor while Oscar's under there rocking back and forth, calming their heart down, and I'm just talking calmly. I'm getting stared at by people,
Mm.
members of the staff coming and go, "Oh, could you have to sit there?" Like, that's my history of I just going, "Yeah, they're autistic. I'm just going to take my time. We'll leave when I need to leave." And if I'm not in the, like, I'm never in the way of anyone. So I've found a space where we can move out. And didn't do that because I thought at the moment that getting out of here and back in the car is better. But we had as close to a near full meltdown as I can remember in a long time. And I did do Calm Your Heart Down, but it was buzzy with people. It was buzzy with noise. I don't know whether Oscar was picking up on the kind of pointing and laughing energy or nudging, winking kind of stuff. Which, to be fair, a long-haired kid walking in heels with a stripy rainbow jumper on, I don't really think is in society that odd to see. I think it's probably odd to see them. So I have like my keys on a lanyard, so my keys were hooked on my jeans loop, and I said, "Oscar, just hold this." So like the old school when Oscar used to have a wristband and like a thing, and Oscar was quite happy with that, but they were really grumbly and moany, and I just thought, just plow through and get through it. But yeah, they were really deregulated, and it was a real shame because we had such a good time. But regulated back. The next day, I knew Oscar had nothing to do, had plans, and nothing to do with them.
hmm That
But
really
that was a
helps.
big,
Mm.
yeah, it does really help, and it's just a reminder that the world's not made up for Oscar. Like if Oscar as an adult has to go shopping on a particular day, then it's Christmas, it's busy. Um, so yeah, it was a big challenge. I think I let them choose this place that we go. Um, So I don't know if that's something I'll change next year, but like I said, it's all good exposure. Like the next time I do that, it will be as busy. Um, and people are always going to point and laugh at other human beings that they think are funny. So it's par for the course. I haven't really spoken to Oscar about that because I don't really want to. It might have been not what they were looking at, not what they were responding to. But um, yeah, we got through. But it wasn't the greatest of days.
Well, sorry to hear
And
that,
there were
mate.
some
And
wins. There were some wins smuggled in there, though. I've got some
yeah,
really
no,
lovely photos of
100%. Yeah,
like.
but
Also, let me just point out when we went to the sushi place, they didn't really have the cucumber sushi that Oscar normally has. So Oscar just fully was like, "Oh, that one," and I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm going to spend loads of money on sushi that you're not going to eat because it has salmon and fish on it." And the whole damn thing. I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I was like, "Well, you eat salmon sushi now. What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, that's going to be one of those situational things. You eat it in this particular restaurant." Nope. Got some salmon for Christmas, rolled it up in a thing. So this is just different because there's no rice with this tucked into that. So
amazing.
yeah, massive food win. Um, so yeah. Talking of wins, I think we're probably going to get onto some of those in a minute when we come back after this, Dan. Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at neuro-dadverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves. Well, hi, and welcome back to the NeuroDADverse podcast, the podcast for about and definitely by parents of neurodivergent children, where we discuss everything neurosparkly and neurospicy, and we believe honesty is the best policy. We've taken about a 2-hour gap between recording challenges and wins because, well, bedtime and, well, just speaking to our neurodivergent or communicating with our neurodivergent children can be challenging. So we're back slightly later. Dan's had a costume change. I haven't, but we're slightly sleepier. But hey, let's talk about some wins. It's quite nice to come back and do this after all of that calm, patient, and kind energy that we've been, good energy that we've been.
Good energy.
So yeah, some wins. What have you got for me?
So my main win of the week was actually Christmas Day.
Mhm.
And the reason, happy to go through it a little bit, but the reason that it was the win or the biggest win is was saying that your challenge was around just like expectation management. Mine, my win is because of expectation management. It
Yeah.
was far beyond what I was initially expecting, but I do love that our children, or children in general, and humankind in general, can just surprise you occasionally. And I was
Mm.
pleasantly surprised with how well Christmas morning went. And my other sort of challenge is really just proud, so proud of him actually making it relatively unscathed through such a busy week, considering we had a
Yeah,
meltdown,
yeah.
a mini meltdown, and a couple of like really near miss. Probably just one or two ticks away from being meltdowns last week. So, yeah, Christmas morning, he actually, our main gift actually was he slept for 10 hours Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day. And I think it was just a lot. That week had been a lot. And he finally just decided to give in and go to bed early and just embrace being asleep. And then he came into us and was chatting away or singing away the way he does. And he saw that we were getting up, got dressed and dressing gowns on, etc. I ran downstairs to put the heating on because it was cold, and I turned on the Christmas tree lights. run back upstairs, and then he basically, once he saw that Amy was ready to go, he grabbed us each by one hand each. So he was holding both of our hands, and he led us down the stairs. And I was like, oh, this is nice. I was like, he's obviously really hungry. I assumed he was going to take us straight into the kitchen so we could eat. He took us into our living room and took us up to our tree, and then pulled down, which means sit down, and made us sit by the tree, and then kind of looked at us like he was like, we sit and do this, right? And we do something now. And then we gave him his first couple of presents, which were the ones that we thought might land best, which were a couple of toys that he'd played with at my friend's house that we went to a few weeks ago, and he absolutely was besotted by him. And his face, he actually opened some of the presents with us, which isn't usually something he does. He doesn't quite understand the whole, like, why is it wrapped? I don't, why am I tearing this paper? And yeah, just really liked him. He just like penny dropped kind of thing. And we're just sitting there like, isn't this really nice? And it was like 40-ish minutes of him playing with this duck goose toy that we got him that has eggs which have chicks inside, and they all sing and it waddles, and he just loves following it. And we got him number blocks, like 1 to 10, because he loves lining them up. So yeah, it was just like a really lovely hour just sitting on the floor.
Amazing.
Doing some of that. And while Amy was cooking Christmas lunch, we really early, because Frankie is a early dinner guy. So we were aiming for like a 12:30 Christmas. Well, we call it Christmas lunch. Bless you.
Excuse me. One more.
For those not watching, Ben was in the brace position preparing for that sneeze.
I did try to warn you.
No, it was good.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. And yeah, so we were eating our dinner, I think, by 1:30, and that was nice. Again, he came and sat with us. We have a plate of what he might eat, and we gave him some other little options as well. And yeah, it was just really, really nice. He just seemed to get it. And because yeah, we've all been guilty of trying to put on to in the past. We're like, right, so you sit down and we do this, and like
structure. Who's
you
it for?
will like this, although
Structure.
it's not quite like
who's
that.
it for? Yeah.
So it was just nice that he kind of obviously has been listening in, picking up bits, and he's like, we're going to sit by the tree. And then while Amy was cooking, he would come and get me. So if we were sitting on the sofa watching something because he wanted to watch telly and cuddles, he would then take me by the hand, take me back to the tree, and we'd have to play, but we had to do everything by the tree. And I was like, that's kind of nice that he's showing me his understanding of this thing is important.
He's communicating to you. This is he doesn't know it, but this is the tradition. This is the way we do it now. You're just led by that, and it's kind of just neuro affirming, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is how you want to do it. Yeah, that's lovely.
And it was just a nice day. And he was super chilled because he'd had the sleep, because we all know how important sleep is. And it was just us a really nice, magical sort of day. He got a little bit tired towards the end of it, as we've said, by about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like after dinner, he was on the downward slope to wanting to go to sleep. But that was just amazing, really. No other way to put it.
That sounds great. That's great. And like, I'm imagining a lot of progress from last year's Christmas Day.
I'm trying to remember.
Like it wasn't like, it feels like it was big enough for you to think, oh, he didn't walk us downstairs and make us sit in front of the tree last year. Like,
yeah, no,
like
it
that
wasn't
level of
that level of detail. Last Christmas Day was lovely because again, it was just the three of us. We pajama all day. That's kind of what we do. We put our pajamas on Christmas Eve night, and then they don't come off again until Boxing Day morning, when we get dressed to do Boxing Day stuff. And yeah, he had fun. He did have fun last year. He definitely had more understanding this time round, and it was easier in the sense that he now has, the last couple of months, he's had more awareness for like creative play / play in general with toys. So last year he had toys, but he didn't play with them because he's never really been a massive playing with toys kind of kid. It's mostly the toy tracks and cars, and so he had fun in his own way last year. This year it felt more like we were having a bit more of a sociable
family,
neurotypical
yeah.
style child playing with his toy, and he
Nice.
was just so happy with
That's not the
our
goal.
toys.
That's not the goal, to have a neurotypical child
No, I know, but that
experience, but I know what you mean, like, it just
if
felt
someone
like
was looking in.
he was communicating to you things
Mm,
rather than it just be, that distance. I love that. Well, one of the reasons that I said in my challenge that, we didn't Oscar didn't make it to all of the things that we had planned on Christmas Eve, excuse me, was because on Christmas Eve, they were invited to go out to look at some Christmas lights and go for some food with their friend, uh, and their friend's parents.
amazing.
And
Is this the parent that is this people that you went
yeah,
out with
yeah,
last
yeah.
time? Yeah.
Yeah, it's people the Oscar goes to the same school as this child, and
Mhm.
they messaged. We were trying to get them to go to cinema, but they didn't find anything they wanted to see, and it's difficult because you're trying to advocate, and obviously teenagers, so
Mhm.
those normal levels of communication just needs some additional chaperoning. So this is the friend that came over and came trick or treating with us, and they left their child with us while
Nice.
we went trick or treating, and this was so Oscar had been out once before and been dropped at a party, and this is the first time they were going to be taken out by someone who wasn't a family member.
Oh, sorry,
And
so
yeah, sorry,
Oscar
if we
went
didn't
with
go.
them. Whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Wow,
And I
okay.
asked Oscar, and Oscar jumped at the chance. Oscar had been gifted, uh, 2 days before when we did like a, brunch for my mum, who we weren't gonna see on Christmas Day. My mum had bought him some, like, thick-heeled silver sparkly boots,
Wow.
which Oscar absolutely like, it was we didn't know my mum had bought them, and Oscar absolutely was like, "Oh, these slay," and it was just like it was a lovely, joyful moment. We were like, "Oh, it's cool when eventually we go out, because 'cause we're not gonna go out, and got any money out plans, or maybe we can go out Christmas Eve to look at the Christmas lights." But the opportunity immediately presented itself the next day, and so Oscar went out in these, boots, and, their friend's parent just messaged me a couple of photos of them sitting, like, just eating a burger and saying that, like, they had a great time. It was a delight. Oscar was a delight, and I was like,
Oh, wow.
Oscar was like, Oscar couldn't wait to tell. Like, oh well, it was the first time that I went out with my friend, and my parents weren't there. And when you're like, oh, this is amazing. I can't believe they're 13 and this is just happening now, but it just has to take time, patience, and kindness. And so we think it's really nice. We've got a good thing kind of going there.
Mm,
They certainly are really comfortable with that person, and those parents are really comfortable with Oscar and vice versa. So it's nice.
that's amazing. Nearly watered up
Yeah, it's
then.
really lovely. It's a really
That's
lovely little thing.
nice.
More wins that our gifting was really kind of sociable. So we did all the kids stuff first. We had a really nice Christmas Eve where, like I said, we were doing things like dropping, like, planting the candy canes, putting the carrot down for the reindeer, and all that type of stuff with my cousins' kids too. And we got them all like matching pajamas, and that they didn't know that was going to happen.
Nice.
And not one of them, like, they are like, yeah, two of them would be year 8, year 9, year 10, and then primary school age and preschool. So there's a whole range there, and you'd expect a bit of grumbling, and no, they loved it. They just went with it, and they knew we would do the same lineup of photos on the stairs that we always do each year. Yeah, it's like just the magic that I said magic earlier, didn't I? Like, it was kind of just magic stuff. It was just what letting them watch them do it and have a little bit of arguing about who was going to put the plate down next, and blah blah blah, and what would happen if, and just a bit of make believe. I just think everyone can do with a bit of make believe in their life, and it was great. It was really lovely. And then the gifting, like they were opening stockings, and just it was really nice to see them explain, like Oscar and Mabel and my cousin's kids actually kind of explain, sometimes at great detail, exactly what
Excessive
they've
detail.
no, 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 never excessive. If you're into never yucks anyone's yum. If you want to tell me all the things about your special interest,
I love it.
go ahead. If any day it can happen, I've got the time on Christmas Day to listen. So Oscar was pointing out some stuff. There's always a tangerine in there. Oscar explains, I've told you a billion times, I don't eat these. Why are they in there? And you kind of, the joke continues. Santa's very busy. Sorry, Father Christmas is very busy. We try to bring back Father Christmas. The Coca-Cola company doesn't like to call them that. Anyway, yeah, it was just really nice. And like Oscar was then explaining some of the gifts that they'd got. We don't list in our house. Just had a reflection, like we didn't enjoy, no, this is no judgment, just in our household, Laura and I didn't super love our childhoods where we listed from the Argos catalogue and then got those things, or a couple of those things. It just, don't know, just I always felt like a surprise is better. And we've always said, like, if we do that, then we'll be locked into kind of a bit more of like what our kids like, and that kind of can only be a good thing, right?
Mhm.
So we feel like it feels, I mean, maybe Laura would say differently, but when we had those conversations, we feel like it's less of a stress now. We're just like, they're into this, let's do that. So it was lovely, and they were just explaining their kind of gifts, and um yeah, and all the kids were doing that really, because some of my cousin's kids play like cricket, and so they would like getting cricket pads and be like, "Oh, this is really good." And like Maple was having a conversation and was just like, "Oh, why do you like cricket so much?" And like someone's then my cousin's kids told us that sometimes a test match can take 4 days and end in a draw, which is like, oh, what is the point? And it was just, they were having that nice conversation. And then, yeah, it was just lovely. Like, and I was just kind of sitting there watching going, oh, this is great, because it could have been chaos. We've also got the youngest one of my cousin's uh, children likes to open gift, play with gift for an extended amount of time.
That's good.
And so that could have been, in certain households, some stressful. That is, hurry up because we've got to tidy all this away. No,
Yeah.
do
Nice.
exactly what you want and tell us absolutely in every single detail exactly what it's about, and then play with it and have just a joyful time. So it was lovely, absolutely lovely. And my last little one was an absolute gaming win. There's this single player game that Oscar and I started playing kind of together and like swapping the controller over, which is a puzzle game about perspective. So you can pick stuff up, and the closer you bring it to the camera, it changes the size of the object. So a lot of it is to do with chess pieces. So if you bring
Mhm.
it really close, it makes it massive, and therefore allows you to climb up it and jump across. It's called superliminal, about liminal spaces. And it's been a real mind boggler, and Oscar has got kind of stressed out over it. And I've got stressed out over it sometimes, like, I just can't work out this puzzle. But Oscar's really enjoyed it and found it really kind of, I said, I found it really, it's really fun, even though and as you go through, it gets to those scenarios where you've just got white and black spots or white and black squares. You can't tell which one is the floor and which one is the wall or whatever. So, and it was really, but we completed the game, is the win. And actually Oscar was really enjoying the fact that we got to the end of that game. And it also came out of nowhere. Like I said, "Oh, do you want to?" Usually I do this quite a lot. "Oh, do you want to play again? You'll play Superliminal." "Yeah, all right." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine. Let's see how far we go." And we completed it. So we just had one more level to go on it. So yeah, it was lovely. Yeah, just to observe really and try to zoom back out and go, "Wow, this is a lot." And also, like I said earlier, super, super respectful Christmas Day. No one had those expectations like, "You will do this." Oscar did come and sit at the table, but in between those times, there was open free reign to like, "Yeah, you can get down, go watch," like Star Wars was on a loop in the in the room where we watch movies. They could play some gaming if they wanted. They could go up to their rooms, and then they knew we would give them then, like, nudges to come back down. It was just nice, and no
Very
one
sad.
seemed to be kind of super stressed, which was good. I think I was certainly conscious of having our first Christmas with Laura having a diagnosis of being like, cool, so we have Christmas with this need now. We've always had it with that need, but we didn't have it with the knowledge.
Mm.
So we were conscious that, yeah, it was just cool. It was cool. It was cool. So, and I didn't care. I didn't really care that we didn't go to Oscar didn't come to the cinema on Christmas Eve, or that's why they couldn't, because they went out Christmas Eve for their first ever real kind of like social outing on their own. So
Well, like you say, totally understandable why that huge win. Yeah, and flexible scheduling. That's cool. Like,
yeah, yeah. But not easy, as I said earlier. Like my expectations, I had to think. So, so yeah.
why was Star Wars? Why was Star Wars the film that was on loop? Out of interest, was that your call? Whose call was that? And which Star Wars was it? If you only had one of all the Star Wars films, what
No,
was
no,
it?
no. It was like I just put it on to play all of them. I can't even remember which one it
Oh,
was.
right,
I
fine.
think it's because back when those ones when they came out, like Force Awakens and stuff, there was 3 Christmases in a row where they brought some out, or
I think it
I
was
can't remember.
two, and then
And
a
I
couple of years later, yeah.
yeah, and I think I just was like, oh, this is stuff that you'll watch on Christmas, and then you'll go back and watch. I feel the same about Lord of the Rings. They released them, I think, on Boxing Days, I think, or New Year's Eves, and I always think I
Yeah.
watched those. So it was
They always have
also
a blockbuster, don't they? Because Avatar's the big one this year. Like they normally come out on. Yeah. No. Okay. That's a solid
so
choice.
yeah, we just stuck it on, and some of and the tickets. Yeah, it's fine. It's lovely for them just to watch a thing. But it was just, yeah, chilled.
I think that
Um,
Frankie's big on Puss in Boots at the moment. That is the film.
ugh,
I don't know why, but that is literally the only film he will watch at the moment. But yeah,
cats,
yeah, he
cats,
watches nothing to do
cats,
with cats on YouTube or anything
cats
like
and all.
this. But
No, cats and autism though apparently is a thing.
yeah, well, it's yeah. Okay, no, that's
Nice.
amazing. Yeah, so
I
but
should clarify. I should clarify. There's no scientific reading that I've done behind that. Just the fact that a lot of, like, Oscar particularly likes cats, and I think the fact that cats come and go and don't really care about whether you give them this through the nurture. They'll just kind of come and go as they please, and then they'll come to you whenever they want. Is it's quite regulated for a autistic person. I don't know. Get in touch if you know some science behind that, but or have some stories. Cool. Should we do a very quick look ahead to the week ahead? This is now the bit where we look into the next 7 days, and it's affectionately called It's Look Ahead to the Week Ahead. So for us, tomorrow, kind of Laura's side of the family and very close friends come to us. Um, and then there's about 20 people. It's not a sit down meal. It's just a buffet
so that's more
thing.
than you had for Christmas. You
Well,
said
I
there was
thought about
like
that.
14 of you. You said,
I
or
think,
so
have
is
I
it?
said 20 or 5 of us?
Well, I mean, that's a lot of people.
Doing
So
numbers. Doing numbers. Yeah. There's Laura and her, sorry, Laura's brother and wife and 2 kids. Laura's friend. Yeah, so it's, but it's, yeah, we've cooked stuff. Laura's mainly cooked stuff, and it's kind of in the fridge for us to kind of warm up and finish tomorrow. So it's not
nice.
big stress. It's not a big sit down roast. Everyone's kind of sick of that. So it's pretty relaxed. We will, and then have like Laura's best friends, Caroline and our friend Lauren here for like Tuesday, Wednesday, so New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day. We might do a wild swim on New Year's Day. It would depend on how Laura works, because Laura's working New Year's Eve. And then, yeah, Laura's then got a couple of other shifts. Excuse me. And then Sunday, all of us off together. And then, yeah, then back to school the following Monday. But that's for next week's pod. So there'll be a lot of kind of winding down, I think. We'll
Is there time to
take
wind down? It's such a weird week, isn't it? Like you say, because New Year happens slap bang in the middle of the week.
depends on your New Year view. Like,
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
we very much, it's not like Laura would much rather work New Year than Christmas. So she takes that on the rota if it comes up. She's not bothered about moving it. And then usually I'll cook something, and then we'll just have a big lunch on the New Year's Day, go for a sea swim, maybe a walk. Yeah, we'll do games. At some point we'll squeeze in, hopefully, the Champion of Champions, where all Laura, Mabel, I and Oscar all choose our game, and we have a point scoring system to see who wins. Last year we do a summer one. It's ideal for like a summer day where it's kind of the weather's not really what you'd like it to be. And then also the Betwixtmas. Not really sure when we're going to fit it in, but we might get our friends involved to adjudicate, because that would be nice. Mabel's won it 3 times in a row, and then last year Oscar won. They won it by winning at Mabel's game, which I can't remember what. And there's like an old.
I was going to say, I remember this quite clearly.
Do you
like,
remember this?
That's an upset, yeah. Like when you lose at
that
your
was
own game, that's harsh.
Yeah. It's fun because they have any game at their disposal, and Oscar chooses quite tactically, and is usually a computer game that only they know how to play. And Laura and Mabel both haven't given it any thought until it comes around in that moment, and they pick something and instantly regret it. So it's good fun.
So what do you do then? So are you tactical, or do you just... Are you like most
I
keepy
don't know.
uppings
I
or something like
tend
that?
to just pick a game that I really enjoy, and then everyone's kind of annoyed because it's a long game.
So questions then. So is it a
Yes.
board game or a video game, or is it like any game? Can it be like I Spy? Can it be like keepy uppies?
No one's
Could it be Risk?
no one's ever offered.
Egg and spoon race.
Yeah, no one's ever offered those types of games before. Actually, that's not true. When we were on a holiday, someone chose to throw something at a ball floating in the pool. If you hit it, you'll get a point. So someone suggested that.
Love that.
Yeah, that might be good.
I do something similar on Frankie's trampoline, to be fair. We get 2 balls. I throw a ball along the bottom round the netting, and you've got to try and hit it with the other ball.
Nice.
Did it like 3 times in like half hour of the week, and it's just such an awesome moment.
Is Frankie involved, or is he sleeping? Just you out there on your own?
He is bouncing around, so I have to throw the ball to hit the ball through him, essentially.
Nice. Without hitting
I was playing it with his cousin. It was fun.
I don't know. Maybe I should. I don't know. See who can stay the longest in the sea?
1 foot.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh yeah, so it doesn't have to be in the house; it could be anywhere.
Well, I don't know. There hasn't really been. No one's really taken a risk yet. And what about that? I mean, it's always been in the house because it's usually on a grim day. Although we did do it on holiday once, like I said.
That's amazing.
W Champion of Champions. We might need to have some. Although I did get one of my best mates bought us the Taskmaster card game. Thank you very much, Rob, if you are listening. So maybe I could just do that. I don't know. It's interesting. It's
feel like you could document maybe for us to have a look. That would be amazing. See what you do. Little reel of your game.
Yeah, nice. Why not?
What's happening in your interview the winner on the pod?
That'd be fun. Go ahead.
My week. So yeah, it's just a funny week again, like you say, because celebration right in the middle of the week. So we do make a thing of New Year, and we are away basically the New Year's Eve till I believe the 2nd. We're staying at our friend's house that Frankie just had the sleepover with, so we're going over to stay with them. The last couple of years we alternate whose house we celebrate with. We try and do games again. Everyone is got their own way of doing things, wanting to do things, and
of course.
everyone's I believe everyone's diagnosed. So we got
how old are the kids?
Don't get me for getting it wrong.
Like primary age? Was it
So
around Frank's age?
primary and so one's a year older than Frank, I believe,
Okay.
and then I
Okay,
want to
so
say double
someone close
figures.
to.
The other one's double figures.
Okay, fine. So yeah, so primary.
It'll possibly,
Um,
yeah,
that's
just
fine. Okay.
end of primary, I think, yeah. So we'll be going there, and I think they've also got
Nice.
some of their other. They've got their cousins there as well, so there's going to be quite a lot of kids, but they're all kids that we all
Mhm.
hang around and play together. So we've got one is
You'll stay
a
over
couple of
there.
years younger than Frankie, and then two of the same age. And yeah, we're all.
Fine.
I believe we're all staying.
Fine.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
fine.
definitely staying for a couple of nights, I think.
Yeah, fine. But
And
then that's a place that Frankie's familiar with, and
yeah, and
bedtime
he's
will
just
just
come
be
out there.
bedtime. When bedtime is, I'm imagining if they're like a send parent household, they're not going to all be sudden like right kids all asleep by 10, so we can have a New Year's Eve countdown. It's going to be like a super respectful,
Yeah,
sensible, calm, patient, and kind place, and
hundred
it sounds
percent.
nice.
We
Love it.
did all make the fireworks last year on the telly, and then the kids slowly started to drop off one by one. I got a feeling that might be the same, but obviously another
Yeah, of
year on,
course.
they might last a bit longer. So that's our main thing, and then first Sen Gym of the year will be before we record our next pod, because this is our
Nice.
last pod of the year.
Oh yeah.
And that's about it really. I've got a couple of days, the next couple of days I don't have any firm plans made with Frank. I feel like he just needs a couple of days to chill, which will be fine, probably until about midday tomorrow, and then he'll be looking at me like, what are we doing? Because he won't be able to chill for too long. He will need some kind of stimulus. So I'll work that out and just try and be fluid the next few days, because Amy goes back to work tomorrow
Uh-huh.
until New Year's Eve. So yeah, we're just trying to get over this, to be honest. It was just so busy the last few weeks with work and trying to fit everything in, and then Christmas has come. This might well actually be the first few days where we can chill.
Nice.
I shall report back, everyone. It probably won't be as calm as I'm expecting it to be, because it never
No,
is.
there'll be some challenges, but that's okay. That's what the glory is, making the challenge and having a look. Well, you're right, Dan. It is the last pod of the year, so I'm just going to sign off by being quite honest and heartfelt, and just say it is a joy to sit and do this each week with you. I think we probably would have just a video call anyway. If we didn't record it, that would be fine, because I feel like it's certainly helping me kind of compartmentalize and think about um, being a father to neurodivergent children, and helps my mental health. And certainly when you identify that we can turn some challenges into wins, it really helps. So I thank you very much for that. And also the fact that people are listening and kind of getting in touch and saying it's really good and they really enjoy listening to us chat, and giving us ideas about what to think about is great. And I always say we'd probably be chatting about this each week anyway. We just happen to record them, and it's great that we've been doing it for half a year, and it's been so useful and important in our lives that people buy us Christmas presents. Yay! About it. So yeah, thank you very much for doing this half of the year, Dan. It's been great.
Likewise, mate. Yeah, it is something I have definitely very quickly started to look forward to. As
Yeah.
someone who is kind of anti-routine, I do very much enjoy the routine of trying to get the pods recorded and out there. So yeah, chronicling, I think, is the word of the year for me. Since
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said it a fair bit, like, and like, it's true. It is. It really helps, and a part of
Mm,
the reason I wanted to go. Can you remember what our first winning challenge was a couple of weeks ago?
yeah.
Just realize just how far progress can be made. Again, to small steps you might not realize at the time, but 3, 6
Yeah.
months, 12 months down the line, you're like, wow, how different life is. So I think that is probably the most important thing. It is nice just to get a sounding board and be like, this is how it went, this is what I felt, and then hearing some feedback from someone who
Yeah.
understands and gets it. And yeah, and hearing from people that listen to the pod as well and send us things in, it's all lovely. So that's why we do it. It's worth it. If we can help one or two people out there go, it's okay to have
Yeah,
Christmas dinner at half
it's
12
just
and be different to
yeah.
everyone else who wants to have it. That's cool. That's why we do it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't don't beat yourself up about it. Listen, if you are listening to us for the first or the 29th time, I think that's about where we are.
I
something
think
like
so.
that. Thank you. If you want to hear about what we're up to, catch up with bits and bobs of the podcast that you might not have heard before, we're on Instagram, which is the NeuroDADverse, and we're also on TikTok and on YouTube and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. That's it for our 2025. And we will be here again in 2026 to talk all things neurosparkly and neurospicy. We massively appreciate everyone who's listening, watching, and getting in contact. And for the final time from the NeuroDADverse, here's Dan's 3 little things to remind you of.
You're doing great. You are enough, and you're definitely not alone. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone. That's about it for the NeuroDADverse. We'll be back next week.
If you laughed, cried, or nodded in tired agreement, don't forget to follow us and leave a review. It helps more parents find us.
Just remember, you're doing great.
You are enough, and you are definitely not alone.
Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at neurodadverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves.